Welcome to Interval Drinks
with your tipsy thespian pals, Chris
and SLP.
Hello.
Good day.
Good day to you.
How are you?
Very good. How are you?
I'm very well. We're back. We're back again.
We're back. Guess who's back? Back again.
It's us.
It's us. It's you. It's I. And today we're going to be talking about the Stephen Sondheim musical Sweeney Todd. And of course we have the appropriate themed cocktail,
we do.
Which is coming today in the guise of a shot.
Oh.
This is, of course, per-lease Miracle Elixir.
No, it's not.
And
no,
I've been told that this is quite a strong one. Apparently it's going to put hairs on your
I can't do a shot straight. Oh my god.
Oh.
Oh. Hang on,
gosh.
we're not done.
Oh. Actually, that was quite palatable. I didn't mind that.
It's getting me at the back of the throat
it does.
a bit.
It's quite harsh on the back of the throat. But perhaps then, sometimes most well-known musical, would you say?
I'd say so. I'd say it was tied with Into the Woods, but it's everyone knows the story, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. It tells the story of the iconic demon barber of Fleet Street, a fictional character.
Which I did not think he was fictional. I genuinely thought he was.
I think that's probably because he's a London legend in his own right.
London
but a fictional character he is, opening on Broadway in 1979, of course, and loosely based on that play, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street, by Christopher Bond.
Christopher Bond! I did have it written down. But he was a character written for the Penny Dreadful, papers, magazine.
He was, that's right.
Wasn't he?
Yeah.
And
in
so,
the sort of late 1800s.
And I don't think he was originally as grisly as he's sort of now become. Wasn't he originally a thief?
Yes.
Turned.
But there's so much of a backstory with Sweeney, isn't it? And Sondheim cleverly depicts that. And in the same way, Les Mis has all these different subplots going on.
Here, there, and everywhere.
As does Sweeney. There's so many things that happen, and it all ties up in the end. No spoilers here.
No.
But
that's going to be hard. How can we not have any spoilers in this? He's a really nice guy, and they have it's a very happy musical.
There are so many dark characters in this.
There are.
Aren't there? And Mrs. Lovett's iconic, isn't she?
She is legit a dream role, I think. She's just so... Oh, yeah. I love a bit of the dark stuff.
Me too.
I love
a bit of the dark side.
A bit of the dark side.
And played by the likes of Patti LuPone, of course, and the late, great Angela Lansbury.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to see Imelda Staunton play.
Were you?
Yeah, alongside
what was she like?
Michael Ball. Stunning. Absolutely incredible.
I love Imelda Staunton.
As I've seen her in many things, like in Gypsy, of course, where she's...
And Follies?
She's Follies
as well, yeah.
She's in that groundbreaking production of Follies at the National.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'd love to have seen her.
And in the most recent Broadway revival, it stars Josh Groban as Sweeney.
It does. That's happening right now, isn't it?
Anna Lee Ashford is taking on Mrs. Lovett.
What have you... I haven't really seen that much of it. I've seen that there's been a good reception. I haven't then looked too much into this version. What do you reckon?
I know about as much as you do on that.
Oh, really? Okay.
But I do know they did a production set in a pie shop. Did you hear about this?
No.
In London. So straight after the sort of Michael Ball, Imelda Staunton version, they created one with Emma Thompson, I think, playing Mrs. Lovett, set in a pie shop on...
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
On Fleet Street.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing. Because Emma Thompson did the... I can't remember where it was. Is it the Lincoln Centre, the 2014 with Bryn Terfel?
That's right. Yeah.
If you haven't seen... In fact, you know what? I'm going to put it up as a link when we've got it. Everyone needs to look up the opening sequence of that, where it blows my mind watching it. They turn the tables, shall we say.
Wowza.
It's really flipping good. And because they're doing it live in concert... Except it's not live in concert.
It's a concert version. It is, but it isn't.
They make it out that it is, and then it's very much not.
Wow.
I know, it's very, very... I will send you it. It's really
I've not seen
good.
any of this, so if you send that across.
I will, that'll be good.
It won't surprise you that I'm not a fan of the film.
No, the Johnny Depp, Tim Burton one.
And fans of Tim Burton will probably understand what I mean when I say this, but the film is very, very Tim Burton.
It is. It's very, very Tim Burton.
In colour and cinematography. But one of the most powerful things to me about Sweeney is the collective sound of the ensemble.
Oh,
which
yes.
he admits from the film.
I know.
So there's no kind of chorus parts.
And they're really, they are a Greek chorus essentially, aren't they? They're sort of there to comment on the narrative and everything like that. But the thing I really like about the chorus in Sweeney is that they very quickly, like even in that opening ballad number, that they sort of descend into this cacophony of
like an army, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
And then Sweeney arrives, and he is disciplined. He is solid. He is control, and so it's like they are then showing the reflection of maybe what's going on in his head or something like that. Or they give that juxtaposition.
I wonder what the decision behind that was.
I don't really know.
It was a poor choice on.
I think
on
so.
His part.
But across all the episodes that we've done, it's turning out that we're never really a massive fan of the movies made of the musicals, because they can never quite hit the mark, can they?
No, and I think because it needs somebody who understands the genre. And I know I've harped on about this in previous podcasts.
Yeah.
But like John M. Chu, who's directing the Wicked movie, I'm excited about.
Yes.
Because of the brilliant job that he did with Into the Woods.
Yeah.
Into the Woods?
Into the Woods?
In the Heights.
In the Heights, yeah. I don't know who did
I've got
Into the Woods,
Sondheim on
actually.
the brain.
I know you do. Into the Heights.
I mean, can you imagine? The poles apart.
That would be good.
And I've been lucky enough to be involved in 2 separate productions of Sweeney Todd.
Yes!
So, and as 2 different characters. So the first time, I was the sort of deranged child that Mrs. Lovett takes in to buy us, Toby.
Oh, man.
And on my second outing, second revisit to the show, I played that wonderfully, outrageously colourful character, Signor Per-lease.
Per-lease, and that was I was in that production as well. That was my first public production as well.
Wow,
and
that's amazing.
Being able to see you at that, I don't want to say a young age, but I was a bit younger than you, that's to be fair, we can work that out. You suit that part down to the ground. It's such a clever part.
As a character, yes. But I have no falsetto. I wasn't blessed with a sort of falsetto.
And it does flip quite a bit, doesn't it?
I'm a bass, naturally.
Yeah.
And it's essentially a tenor part with a high falsetto.
Oh, gosh.
So I blagged the singing,
but
I kind of liked getting my teeth into the character.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It's a blaggable
To pull a toot.
On the Michael Ball and Melda Staunton one, they released the soundtrack, but they cut Per-lease number out of it was in the stage show,
right?
But in the soundtrack that they released afterwards, for some reason, all of Per-lease numbers are cut.
Why?
I don't know.
Or maybe they had a disagreement with their actor.
I don't know. And I only knew this because I've just had a recent trip to London and we drove down and I said, I haven't listened to Sweeney in a long time. So we put Sweeney on and some of the best numbers, and it's more like a Sweeney highlight, if you like. Or that's that's what Spotify had to offer.
Oh, okay. Did you know that, just harping back to the Burton film, that Johnny Depp was cast before anyone had ever heard him sing?
Wow.
That's bold, isn't it?
And that's also typical Tim Burton, isn't it? Well, he likes his Johnny Depp.
He does, and
Helena
Bonham Carter.
Yeah, of course.
But I do, from what I've read, they did go, they made sure that they proved to the rest of the audition panel that they were indeed the right people for the characters. But that without any singing, that's a pretty pivotal part, I would say.
And I think Johnny Depp played it all on one level. Looking back, it was all just a little bit, I'm not going to say too menacing, too forceful, just a little bit samey all the way through.
Well, and this is interesting because, of course, Sweeney is a very controlled character, apart from, of course, the iconic Epiphany. I'd say that's like the one place where he really spirals out of control, and even then he kind of regains it again in the same scene, doesn't he? But how do you then... It's interesting, how much light and dark do you want to show if you kind of do want to show that consistent control throughout? That must be a really difficult...
It's a difficult
directorial thing to do,
And it needs an actor, essentially, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Mad props to him, but he didn't cut it for me.
No.
But one thing I like about Sweeney is more so than in any of the other Sondheim musicals is the melodies.
Yes.
Because a lot of Sondheim shows are a little bit kind of discordant,
here, there, and everywhere.
And the melodies are just incredible.
Gosh, yeah.
Not While I'm Around. I mean, that is a beautiful song.
It's so beautiful.
Greenfinch and Linnet Bird.
I know, and even like, and we've got like, oh, you cry, da da da. They're really sort of quite difficult lines to sing, and yet they can seem so effortless when you.
It's really nice.
There are loads of melodies, and of course he uses the kind of thematic idea, doesn't he? When a certain character comes on, that then there's that similar kind of thing. Well, do you know about the Dies Irae? Do you know what this is?
Dies Irae?
Dies Irae. So that's a Latin part of the Requiem Mass that's kind of used in loads of music now. Actually, it's using film scores, and it's just using choral music, and like kind of everywhere you look, really. And the Dies Irae is a Dies Irae, Dies Illa, and that little. In fact, that's even used in Rent. I wonder if that might be sparking. It is in Rent. So it pops up everywhere, and that means like I know it's so cool, and it means day of wrath, like doom impending, something like this. But it's a musical quote that hundreds of composers have used. I was about to say thousands, there probably are thousands. And it's used all the way through Sweeney Todd, of like this wrath and doom and penny. It's so clever.
Isn't it, when we unpick it musically, what you can find, there's little Easter egg facts.
It is. And like the da-da-dee-da, and there's da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, bum, bum, and it keeps on sort of quoting the same notes, not always in that order.
I love you. Can I just say, I love you. I could just listen to you talk all day.
Well, this is like huge thanks to my friend Joe Spence, who is a huge Sweeney Todd fan. He did his dissertation on it, and we've had many a chat into the night about Sweeney Todd.
That's amazing. Well, I hope he's listening to our podcast.
I know, he will be. He will be. Oh, gosh. What have I got here? I've got another movie fact for you, though, sort of. So did you know, in fact, when the movie was made in, what have I put on here?
2016?
I think it was. I can't remember if I wrote it down, that's silly of me. But it got very close to being made in 2003, much earlier, with Sam Mendes directing instead.
Oh, I would have loved to have seen that.
Did you know who was going to be lined up to be Sweeney? Russell Crowe.
Oh.
So now that we've seen the Les Mis film later, I think that's actually maybe a good idea that it didn't happen, because that would have been.
Well, he's got the physicality of Sweeney, hasn't he?
But does he have the voice?
See, we had this discussion in the Les Mis one. I didn't actually mind him, and I know people have argued that he's not a singer.
Maybe he just made some choices that didn't work. I don't know. Well, because of course we know now that Hugh Jackman's we knew that Hugh Jackman's a very good singer, but I didn't feel that he came across at all well in the Les Mis film. He was all very strained. Whereas we've seen it,
Sam Mendes.
I know.
Directing. That's interesting.
So I'm not sure why that edition of it got abandoned, but it did.
Because he would understand the musical genre, having directed quite a few musicals and things in the past. So that's amazing.
But Depp versus Crowe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'd like them to have a Todd off, and with a Todd.
A Todd off? Sounds rather rude.
Oh no, my thing's gone. Oh, by the way,
I'm just going for a Todd off.
Look how brand loyal I am, everybody, with my lock screen. Look how cute that is.
That is really, on brand. Well done.
Oh dear. The whole show is actually like. It's verging on the operatic, isn't it? It's nearly sung through.
I got a note about this.
Yeah, go on.
Said, is it opera or is it musical? And I'm just interested to hear your thoughts on that.
I don't think it can be counted as opera, but I would certainly say it's operatic tendencies, if that's not too wanky a thing to say. But it is. It's very. It's nearly sung through. So there's a lot of this thing called recitative, where it's kind of like musical conversation, if you don't know what that means. And there are scenes in it, but they're quite limited. And before an underscoring comes in, with the music underneath them. And so it's kind of, I don't know, and it feels quite classically written, doesn't it? And with all this thematic stuff, that's a classical thing to do. But I think Sondheim does that quite a bit, doesn't he?
And I think
he's quite a classical sounding composer.
It'd be a nightmare to direct. I don't think I've got it in me. I don't think I've got the ability, having directed things in the past, to direct Sweeney. I think I would be totally out of my depth, just because of the amount of layers it has.
Yeah.
And it's that thing, isn't it, that a director has got to have a good relationship with the musical director, with the costume, with the props, he's kind of like integral.
Yeah.
But the relationship he has with the other people that are working on that has to be,
Interesting. I think you'd be able to do it.
I don't know.
Maybe we should do a highlights
a
from
workshop.
A workshop.
Yeah.
A workshop. Absolutely. I was looking up I was trying to think of a dream cast, right? And I was then sort of thinking, who would I really, really like? And one name that really leapt to mind was Philip Quast. I think he's amazing. Am I pronouncing that right? I think
Philip Quast?
Yeah. And I saw, of course, he's then part of this 2014 Lincoln Center, the live concert version. And then I thought, well, Audra McDonald as well. And she's part of this one. And Christian Ball. And he's part of this one. And I was kind of like, this is great.
So you're essentially just casting the 2014.
Really well, and we had Bryn Terfel as Todd in that one, who of course is an opera singer.
Yeah.
So I wonder that, he's that sort of connection there. In fact, going back to Josh Groban, I should have said this earlier. My first thing that I saw Josh Groban in, I think I saw this before I heard him, was the Chess in concert.
Oh, in concert?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
In which he sings beautifully, but I can sort of feel it. You look a bit awkward on stage. It feels like he's not yet comfortable with acting. It might have been his sort of one of the first things he kind of did. But since then, I've seen that he's done more and more, and now obviously doing this hugely popular version of Sweeney Todd. Didn't he do, I can never remember what the full title of this is, Natasha, Pierre, and
The Great Comet.
Great, yeah.
I just call it The Great Comet.
Yeah, The Great Comet, yeah. And he's in that, and that was really, he got a lot of good stuff for that. So he must have gone upwards in, I can't watch it. The miracle elixir's gone to me already.
Oh, that's amazing.
What do you call it when you've gone up and gone better? That's what
I think it would be worth visiting Chess in one of our podcasts just to unpick it.
Yeah.
Because the premise is great and the music's great.
Yeah.
Why doesn't it work?
I don't know.
What is it about it that doesn't? I'm going to look into that.
Is it the chess? Do people just not care about chess?
I mean, can you play chess?
No. I mean, I can move the things and go like, when it's
Can you make pies?
No.
Oh.
I can eat them.
I can eat them too. There's that great lyric, isn't there? That's a great sort of alliteration. Popping pussies into pies.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you need that on a t-shirt, Chris. Oh dear. Worst Pies in London is actually such a clever song. Because it does the whole back and forth. Oh God! Oh my gosh! Right, I hadn't even written this down. This is fresh in my head. So, Worst Pies in London. She keeps on sort of switch, from between the quick, and then da 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 da, and sort of going back and forth there. So does the Beggar Woman.
Yes.
When she's going,
yes.
Well, I do like. So they're both. Is that like a little? I don't know what this is.
When you unpick it, you really appreciate
mirrors
how
everywhere.
Clever.
Yeah.
Sondheim is.
I know, he's so clever.
He's a genius, isn't he? And my favourite song in the show is Little Priest.
Oh, yes!
I just think that
so
is brilliant.
Clever.
I would love to do that as part of like, I don't know, a cabaret show where you just perform numbers from a show. But it's a 7-minute long song, and what a...
I know.
It'd be hell to learn.
It would, yeah.
But if we pulled it off, that would be just...
Should we do that at our Vox karaoke night?
Absolutely.
I think that would be really good.
And Streisand does a good version of Not While I'm Around.
I
don't know if you've listened to that. That's a really nice little... that was the best Streisand impression I've ever heard.
No, it's not. What would your solo Vox karaoke be for this one? You could do the whole shaving, pulling tooth thing as Pirelli, couldn't you? You could do that.
Shave the face, the bull of the tooth.
The toot.
I didn't know it then, and I don't know it now.
Just blag it. Oh, I thought you were blagging the notes, not the word.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Bless you. I adore Sweeney, and I think it's my favourite Sondheim show.
Yeah. There's so much. Every time I listen to it, I always find something new, which I think just is like a credit to the layers that are going on, and
barring West Side Story, how many podcasts have we done now? Is this our?
This is our
13th?
In this series, this is our 9th.
9th?
Yeah, and we did 8. Did we do 8 the first time?
Yeah.
What's that math?
17th.
17th.
So this is our 17th, and barring West Side Story, where he was just the lyricist, this is our first Sondheim musical that we've discussed.
Gosh. Yeah. Cheers to Sondheim.
Cheers to Sondheim.
Oh, my thing's stuck.
God bless you.
Cheers.